If you're running paid ads in 2026 and you're not utilizing AI, you're just wasting time and leaving money on the table. In this video, I'm covering the tools and Claude workflow that I use to create and manage winning ad campaigns. So to kick it off, in your real estate business, there are two main tools that are utilized in Claude to see the success of your ad campaigns. And the first is going to be the Claude chatbot. Now, this is self-explanatory. 99% of users that have used AI already know what this is. If you've used Gemini, ChatGPT, anywhere where you go in and type a prompt directly into the interface, that is what the chatbot is. And the same applies to Claude. And this is where you're going to do all your research. This is where you're going to ask it questions in order to do your scripts, etc. And it's basically just another AI chatbot, just like every other one, except obviously it has its perks. That's tool number one. Tool number two is Claude Code. Now, there's a slight difference with Claude Code, and some of you probably haven't heard of it. And essentially what Claude Code does is it's a direct code interface that you would download onto your desktop or your Mac. And essentially what it's used for is to execute specific tasks that are utilized within your CRM, utilized within your calendar, your Gmail, anything that you can use to leverage your time. Claude can probably do. So whether that's checking your emails, seeing what the summaries of those emails are at the end of the day, checking your calendar, reminding you that you have appointments coming up, if you have to send out certain emails, all of this can be done and executed perfectly within Claude Code. And this is where you train Claude effectively. You can't rely on the prompts or the chatbot to do this for you because there's no automated sequencing. With Claude Code, you can set up automated times that run without you ever having to touch your computer once it's running. Obviously, the computer would need to be on to execute certain tasks, but you can even have tasks that when you're offline, Claude is still running. Now, for more niche-specific stuff, including ads, you can create different landing pages, you can have it analyze your ad account, and you can create new headlines, new subheadlines, new forms, all within new landing pages to test within your ads, done for you without you even being on the computer, if obviously you train it properly. And this is the advantage of using something like Claude. The precision is extremely, extremely accurate. There's minimal to no hallucinations, and it performs the tasks efficiently when you set the prompt correctly and you train it properly. And the last thing that's good to note is that you can directly integrate this with your CRM, like I stated before, and you can have it run these tasks without having to do something like use Zapier, Make.com, N8N, all of the things that require you to set up separate tools that cost extra money. All this can be done within Claude, and this can save you time, money, and it just makes the user experience and interface a lot more enjoyable, and it just makes it more convenient. So now with the tools out of the way, the first step when it comes to utilizing Claude when making ads is the research phase. Now, the research phase essentially is just comprised of, first off, knowing who your ICP is, what their pain points, motives, desires are, and then being able to identify those and lay those out in an organized way. Now, the first thing you want to do is obviously find who your ideal client profile is. What are they saying? What are their problems? And the easiest way to do this is to record your calls that you take with clients that are coming to you. If you don't have that, what you can go is use in Claude, essentially, a prompt that will find all of this information for you. So hopping into the interface real quick, this is the prompt that I would be typically using if I was doing this for the first time without any training on my AI model or anything along the lines of that. This is what it is. You're a market researcher pulling raw voice of customer data for urgent sellers in the real estate space. Search the web and bring me their actual words, not summaries, then where to look. Again, places like Reddit. Find the relevant subreddits, then dig into threads and comments, forums, Quora, Facebook groups, reviews, whatever fits the market, news articles, etc. And essentially, you also want to have the source name and link as well. This is extremely important because you want to make sure it doesn't hallucinate. Now, Claude is very, very good and accurate and doesn't really hallucinate as much, but any AI tool is prone to it. So you just want to make sure you're very specific. So the source name and link, what triggered it, and essentially what we're hunting for are complaints, frustrations, and rants. The same questions asked over and over, how they describe their problem, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can copy this. You can take a screenshot of this and then honestly throw this prompt into AI, then copy it and throw it into another chat and use this for yourself. But let's just throw this as an example and show you what kind of information we can pull. All right, so now that we've got the prompt finished, essentially what it says is Trustpilot, open door reviews. We have all the different quotes that were stated. We have like a quick process is an absolute lie and it wasted 3 weeks. So this is all with cash offers, right? It's the cash offer angle. These are the objections people have when working with cash offers. Now you can utilize these as an agent and kind of double down on what's already being said here. Or if you're a wholesaler, obviously these are the things you want to be avoiding. So bait and switch, 85% of the original offer, quick process that is absolutely a lie and wasted 3 weeks. Avoid open door. Like these are all things that people are experiencing now. And then what you're going to want to do, I just went and took my time ahead and essentially just wrote this prompt out as well. So we're going to lab it run. Basically, all it's saying is you're a direct response strategist trained in world-class advertising. And then essentially what we're going to be offering, this is for an example of an agent, an ebook solving the pain points that are already explained. And like I said, we're taking the stance of a real estate agent. The ICP, we're looking for urgent, motivated sellers. And the desired action is to opt in to download the guide on what we're going to be providing. So we don't want to have them book in a call immediately. All we want to do is have these motivated sellers download something that is going to build trust and authority so that then when you do reach out, you have a reason to reach out. And they've already consumed your content, so they've built trust a little bit more. So we have the pain points, top 5 problems, objections, swipe file, ad angles, and we're only supposed to pull from the data from above, don't sanitize the language, and don't have any generic insights. Simple as that. You can utilize this, literally take a screenshot of this exact prompt. Obviously, you're not going to say you're a real estate agent if you're a wholesaler, but the point is you're able to take this data and it's going to give us exactly what we're looking for. So I'll be right back. All right, so now that the prompt is finished, essentially, so it just listed our pain points. So I'll get lowballed and use money. I don't want to sell, but I'm out of options. I just want this house off my plate and behind me. And you can take these and then you can utilize them into the script writing process, which we're going to break down in a second. And then obviously we have the desires, we have objections, and then the swipe file. So obviously price/betrayal was one of the most highest intensity as far as emotion goes. Desperation/stuck, burden, grief, family, prey down, harassment. You can use these exact quotes in the actual scripting process. And so now moving into the scripting phase, you want to take this data and create actual ads that can be shown in front of people the right way. And so now jumping back into Claude, basically we're just going to paste in a prompt here that essentially is just going to break it down. So you're a direct response copywriter who writes YouTube ad scripts. Above is the angle research I produced earlier and the script structure I want you to follow. So then it's going to pick an angle. It's going to choose the length of being 60 to 90 seconds, have the optimal desired action, the ICP who we've already addressed, and the product and service of what we're selling. So once this is done, then you can take this information and then you can finally go into the final prompt, which we're going to break down after this is done. So now the scripting process is complete. As you can see, it follows the basic YouTube ad structure. So the hook, dismantling the belief, and then here's what they don't tell you. So offering some sort of hidden insight, and then the mechanism guide and the call to action. This is a standard YouTube ad framework that usually works across markets. Obviously, it's going to depend on your situation. Just using AI all the time doesn't always work. For the demonstration of this video, you could even use something like this and probably see good results. Then what you're going to want to do is from here, you want to make sure that this script follows a specific guideline. So the first thing is you want to make sure it doesn't have multiple colons, right? Because if it has more than 2 and 3 in the whole script, you're going to want to delete part of the script. Now in this script, luckily, we're not having too many colons, except for the 1, 2 thing. And you also want to make sure that it doesn't have periods. You want to replace all the periods. Like if it has for example, right here, there's a quick way to sell exactly as it sits without fixing one thing. And sometimes it would have periods instead of commas. You just want to make sure that you fix that so that you can read it properly when you're actually recording the ad. And other things as well. So anything that you would not say out loud in a conversation, anything that just seems off, that just doesn't seem very conversational, delete it, because sometimes AI will hallucinate. Luckily with this script, just getting a skim of it, I've read literally thousands, I've created thousands of scripts. This one is actually pretty good off the cuff. So you can utilize something like this, use it for yourself. And this is essentially how Claude can basically just do most of your workflow for you. The last part I want to touch on is data collection, and more specifically, how Claude is able to organize your data and review your data with you so that you don't have to go in and do all that manual labor yourself. And it all comes down to understanding something called MCP connections. And essentially what that means is you can directly integrate Claude within any one of the CRMs, your ad interface, whatever you're using in order to generate leads, it can directly integrate. So if you use Go High Level, you can integrate. If you use HubSpot, you can integrate your Google Ads Manager, your Meta Ads Manager. all of it can be utilized and connected through Claude. So what you can do on a practical level is pull your relevant metrics that are important to know how your ads are performing, your CPMs, your CTRs, so click-through rate, your average cost per click, average cost per conversion. And you can give you a weekly report. You can do a daily report. I don't think a daily report is necessary per se, but weekly reports you can pull up and then see how it performed from the week before. It can send it to you via email. It can send it to you via text. This way, you don't have to do all that work looking at these numbers, sorting it out, writing it down. It'll record it for you. You can even have it keep a CSV or a Google Sheet log of every single week, your metrics, where it was before, compare the last week's metrics, and you can make optimized changes accordingly, even within Claude Code or within the chatbot itself, depending on how you have it set up. But my point is, when set up correctly, Claude can do all of these tasks that you typically wouldn't want to do yourself already done for you so that you can focus on your business and make more money that way. Now I've just covered how I use AI to create ads and manage workflows in my campaigns. But the key thing to note is that Claude, or any AI model for that matter, is not going to be able to do everything manually for you. There is still a huge, tremendous amount of human input that is required in order to see the success of winning ad campaigns. So in this video right here, I cover how to set up and manage ad campaigns beyond what AI is capable of. Check that out, and I'll see you in the next one.